Take a look at that. Look at it, still sizzling. Oh, that is absolutely mouth-watering. All right, I'm really excited about this. Tonight for dinner, I am going to be making a pizza casserole. Now, there is no bread, there's no crust or anything like that. It's a crustless, like a crustless pizza. It's keto friendly and it is absolutely delicious. I've made this many a time. We're going to be putting into this casserole is 1 pound of, this is 80% ground beef, 1 pound of mild Italian sausage. That's what I'm using. If you like a different kind of sausage, you can do that. Pepperoni. You gotta have pepperoni. I got the 6-ounce bag of pepperoni. Probably be using pretty much all of it because I put it inside the casserole and I top it on top of the casserole. So sliced pepperoni. I got a 6-ounce bag. Use as much or as little. Everybody's is different. Now, I use 3 ounces. This is an 8-ounce bar, but I use 3 ounces of cream cheese. This acts as like more of a binder, but it also gives it some pretty good flavor. You don't want to use too much, but you also don't want to use too little. It's really not going to act as much of a binder. You use too much, and you're going to really taste the cream cheese. 2 eggs helps bind the loose meat, like the sausage and the hamburger, helps bind those together. Mozzarella cheese. I have medium cheddar cheese. You can also use mild or sharp. I use more mozzarella than I do cheddar. You can change it up however you like. And last but certainly not least, you got to have your pizza sauce. Now, this is the part that's not really very keto friendly. Like this jar that I've got right here actually contains 4 grams of carbs per quarter cup serving. And I would say I would use anywhere from a quarter to half a cup of this. But it makes it, it makes it delicious. It makes it taste actually like a crustless pizza. These are the ingredients. I'm going to show you how to prepare them. I'm going to show you how to throw it all together, bake it up, and we're going to slice it and we're going to eat it. Okay, as you can see, I've got them in chunk-sized pieces. As they cook, I will be breaking them down even further. I have the burner on medium, number 5, and a medium. Don't want to get it too high. Don't want to cook it too fast. I don't want big chunks. I want smaller, basically as ground as I can get it, as ground up as I can get it. I'm going to add in some spices. I use my own special base. Use salt, pepper, paprika, garlic, onion. You don't have to get fancy with it. You can use salt and pepper or just salt. I like to heavily season it because I want the hamburger to have plenty of pop when it's in the casserole. See, it's starting to brown up. I'm getting the pieces broke down so they're a lot smaller. Constantly slicing them, cutting them up with the spatula. There we go. Just discovered I got a light up there. So as you can see, it's almost brown. See how Oh, there's not any real big chunks. I'm going to get the binders in there. And there we go. I don't want to get it overdone. So I take a spoon with holes in it, mainly because I want most of the grease to stay in the pan. There's actually a reason why I do the hamburger before I do the sausage, because where the hamburger makes its own grease, the sausage kind of needs grease to keep it going. So I use a spoon with holes in it to get the hamburger out. You don't want to too overcook the hamburger, because that hamburger is going to go back in after the sausage is cooked. I did the same thing with the sausage, put it in chunks. The sausage, you don't have to ground it down. You can have little chunks in it if you want, or I mean, you can do it, grind it all the way down like you did the hamburger, but this can actually have a little bit bigger chunks. I wouldn't suggest giant chunks. Don't leave them like this. As you can see, but it's not as finely ground as the hamburger is. I want it in a little bit bigger chunks. There's still pieces that are a little bit bigger than I want them to be, but by the time I'm all done with this, I'll have them broke down. Okay, and here we go. That's pretty much almost done. That's how I like mine. That way you definitely can separate and tell what is the sausage and what is the hamburger. Okay, as I said I was going to do, I have added the hamburger back in with the sausage, mixing it together. Thrown in 3 ounces of cream cheese. It's still, pretty solid. So what I'm going to do is I am going to turn down to about 3, medium low, and I am going to cover. Then we will come back and hopefully the cheese will be nice and soft. We're going to let it set for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to let the cheese soften. I wanted to show you real quick what I did while the meat was cooking. There we go. I took some of the pepperoni and I've cut it up into little quarters. This is actually going to go in with the meat. I also have pepperoni inside the casserole, as well as the rest being put on the outside of the casserole. This is actually some older pepperoni that I had that I wanted to use up first. And there just happened to be enough. That was what was going to go inside the casserole. So worked out. Cut it in the little corners, and it will be added to the inside of the casserole. Okay. See, I broke up the cheese a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bury the cheese under some of the sausage and hamburger meat. I'm going to cover it for a few more minutes. As the cheese gets all melted and the cream cheese gets all melted inside there, it's getting all mixed in there. This is pretty much just about done. Don't want to go any longer than this, but just you want to make sure you don't have chunks of cream cheese in there. And now I have moved it all back into the bowl. Cream cheese is all melted in there. Now what we want to do is we want to let this cool down a little more before we add the binders, the egg, the cheese, the additional meat. So we'll be back when this is cooled down a bit. I would say, I don't know, give it about 15, 20 minutes, kind of stir as you go along. Okay. Now it started to cool down, getting pretty cool now. Mainly what you don't want to have happen is when you put your eggs in, you don't want the eggs cooking. You want the 2 eggs you're putting in to stay raw. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the egg. That's cooled down enough. Throw in the egg. And I'm going to Mix that egg in there. Mix it in there real well. Because we want that egg covering every bit of this meat. Now it's all mixed in. Gonna throw in the pepperoni. The ones that we've sliced into quarters. Okay. Mix these in. Everything we add, I try to mix as I go along. That way I can make sure that everything is evenly spread throughout the casserole. And just for the record, I mean, it doesn't have to be all meat. You can put onions, peppers, if it's something that you like on your pizza, you can put it in there. Sometimes if I've got some extra salami, I'll cut that up and throw it in, give it a little bit of extra flavor. Okay, now I'm going to add in the mozzarella. I just do like a handful like this. And since I do more mozzarella than anything, I do about 2 handfuls. Probably comes out to about maybe 3/4 of a cup. I got pretty big hands. And I'll also add in the medium cheddar cheese. Now I'm only going to do 1 handful of the medium cheddar. And once again, get it all mixed together. You want everything mixed as evenly as possible. You want this cheese to be evenly distributed because it's like everything else, it's a binder. Okay, got myself a nice casserole. Pan, got a 18-inch pan, a good sized pan. And what I do so that it doesn't get, I use foil and I spray with 0-calorie spray. All right, now take your stuff you all mixed all together and just put it right into the bowl. You can spread it as you go along, or just put it in the middle in one big glop and then spread it later. I like to kind of do a little of both. Get a big old glop in the middle and then kind of spread it out a little bit. See some pieces. Spoon to spoon it out, and then your spatula to kind of spread everything out. You want it, it's going to be a nice thick. We have the less keto friendly part of this. I kind of just eyeball it, but you can actually measure if you're real concerned about it. I think I'm probably got about half a cup right there. Looks worse than it is by the time you spread it all around. Try to get it into every corner you can. Little bit goes a long ways. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Now, the mozzarella. I like a lot of toppings. You don't have to put on as much as I'm putting on, but like I said, I love toppings. So I will put probably 2 or 3 cups of cheese on top of this. These are this is just the way I do it. Okay, here we go. We are going to to now add the pepperoni. I'm not going to make you watch me put all of this on. We'll be right back. And hocus pocus, alakazam! Look at that. Holy moly, even more pepperoni. Woohoo! All right. Now, we're going to top it with a little bit more cheese. Not a lot. I'm not going to get the coating like I did before. Just kind of a dusting, just something to, just maybe a quarter of a cup at the most. Okay. You see, not a lot there. There's a whole layer underneath that. So, and then, of course, some cheddar. All better with cheddar. You say what they say. Give me some cheddar because it makes it better. There we go. Okay, now I highly recommend if you can put it in the refrigerator for an hour or two. I'm going to do it for 2 hours before I cook it. It'll get it cold, get it more bindy so that when it does actually go into the oven, that should really make it way more cohesive. So I'm going to put it in the fridge for a couple hours and then we'll come back out. All right, so it has now been 2 hours and I've taken the casserole out. I have the oven preheating at 375 degrees. Once it gets up to temp, we will put the casserole in the oven. Woohoo! Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy! Okay, oven is up to temp. Woohoo! I put in the casserole and I set the timer for 35 minutes. So we're going to let the casserole cook for 35 minutes. And then we will pull the casserole out and let it cool for another 15 minutes because you do not want to cut into the casserole while it's still hot. It'd be messy as can be. So I will come back here in about another 35 minutes. And then heaven, we're in heaven. 10 minutes to go. Waiting is the hardest part. Waiting is the hardest part. Never had one vocal lesson in my life. We are mere minutes away, and the anticipation is killing me. Anticipation. Okay, that was just rude. Okay, this is it. It is done. Time to go and get it out of the oven. Oh, delish. Take a look at that. Look at it, still sizzling. Oh, that is absolutely mouth-watering. Man, I'll tell you right now, one of these days they need to develop the technology to allow smell to come through your device because that is completely intoxicating. It is delicious. Now, just wait 15 minutes for it to cool down and then we get to eat. Yep, yep, yep. But I have to smell that. And I mean, it is absolutely, I mean, mouth, it's torture. It's torture. So, only 13 more minutes to go. Okay, that's 15 minutes. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Half of that. That is anticipation. Gonna be delish. Once again, remember, do these pizzas up the way you like them. Remember, you're the one that's got to eat them. All right, here we go. Look out, ooey gooey chewy. Oh, okay. Just gotta let that cool a little bit. Gonna do a little happy dance. Oh. All right. That. Look how chewy. Look how gooey it is. Mm. Oh, if I was still married, I think I would have just now cheated on my wife. Oh, to do it again. Oh, that is absolutely scrumptious. You got the cheese, you got the pepperoni, you got the hamburger, you got the sausage, all blending together. You have even more pepperoni inside with the sausage and the hamburger. Mm. Mm. Seriously, it's like sometimes I'd take a slice of pizza and I didn't really want to fill up with the crust, so I'd pull the topping off the pizza and I'd just eat the topping. That's what that tastes like. That's exactly what that tastes like. All the topping without all the bread. Okay, just finished up. It was delicious. Just to let you know, something I forgot to tell you is that it makes 8 pretty good sized helpings. So, I mean, the majority of people who are normal eaters, probably one square, um, one slice will be perfectly fine. Me, I'm kind of a pig. In fact, I'm a pig. I have to have 2 slices. And to be honest, I could probably eat a third slice, but I know if I wait a little bit, I'll be full. It is remarkably delicious for having very little in the way of carbs. Now, it's extremely keto friendly. It's a low carb, keto friendly meal, and I recommend it. That'll last me for at least 3 more meals. So, highly recommend it. Hope you give it a try. I look forward to seeing you again.